All right, welcome everybody. This is JD, the mobile trader. I'm over here with my brother Mo Jax, Trader Mo, in the place to be, and we are here for the market wrap up with JD and Mo. What's good, Mo Jax?
What's good, my brother? How you doing?
Making it, man. Making it. Trying to looking for that P Funk, man. Just it didn't. That didn't work. That didn't work. Trying to do the Samuel L. Jackson line from Juice, man. He said, "I was just looking for that P Funk." Anyway, look, man. I'm great episode. I'm excited about. We have a lot of people rolling in.
Mhm.
Let's see. We got Ronisha in here, M. Williams, Selena, uh, a lot of the crew in here, man. But tonight is the Future Shock episode. Mo, did I shock you with that one, or I mean, I know you
Yeah,
already
you
always
did. I'm
ready.
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. You shot me with that one, so I'm excited. I'm excited myself.
Because
Let's run it. What's up, Kyla?
future, man, the future, I just think is we're at that stage right now where things happen so quickly, where new tech, new advancements, it jumps on the scene so fast that people can't prepare for it. And I think, and this falls right back into your training from the standpoint of analysts thinking in a linear mindset. And I think, the horizon might be a certain level. And if we elevate our thought past a certain sight line, that extends our horizons. What do you think about that? Like the view, forward thinking projections or viewpoints?
It's interesting you say that. Like as you were saying that, like what I get from what you're explaining is, how I, think about forecasting, which I think well about, forecasting, about thinking, what I mean, not too far in the future, but the next week, the next month, the next 3 months, and possibly the rest of this year, like what things can transpire. But it's weird. Like in order to kind of get to that forecasting, it's really about the fundamentals. It's really about knowing the fundamentals of the stocks or the cryptos, and in this case, we're talking about new stuff. Is moving forward, or as technology continues to like advance kind of faster than what we're doing, like it's important to have a solid foundation in the fundamentals of um, you know whatever you're doing, whether it's trading, or living. You need to have a solid foundation on the fundamentals.
I'm with you, man, and that's where we connect on things, and then I shoot off in the left field with some stuff, and you're like, brother, yeah, more power to you, brother. You'll drop one of those on me, but then we'll kind of reconnect a little bit on the viewpoint, and like
Mhm.
I look at Investor Business Daily. I know you
As do
that
I.
that's where we both kind of you'll
Yeah.
dig in certain areas, and a lot of times I come into the IBD Secrets of Success. It's up. It should be up on the screen.
Yep.
Number 5 hits me right now. Be persistent and work hard. Number 4 hits me. Never stop learning, because that's a daily a constant, uh, in my opinion. And I think for this episode, for me, for Future Shock, that this is the one where if it doesn't shock, if my vision or the individuals who are in here tonight, if their vision, their idea doesn't shock someone to the point of like, what? It's not big enough. It's not far enough reaching. I'm thinking past next week. I'm thinking past. I'm thinking to the point where they're not using the calendar. That kind of point where like, uh, guys, put it in the chat. Like, this is what I'm thinking. Drop your futuristic ideas and how you plan to explore them. I'm not talking about the one that multi-million-dollar moneymaker where you're giving up uh, intellectual, IP. Don't give up IP, but just you can do a vague thought. Like, I mean, one of them for me, and I wrote it down, man. It's right here. It's the retinal DNA scanning, the mobile retinal DNA scanning machine, or okay, they have the retinal scans. Uh, you have a lot of holistic healers who can look at your eyes and see, okay, uh, your liver function is low. Your But the retinal scan also, you know, that's the human side, the retinal DNA scan. And I'm thinking 20, 30 years down the road, when we're off on an outpost on the moon or a moon of Jupiter, and there's no doctor, but we have that mobile retinal scan to find out, okay, you're deficient in vitamin D, and you're showing these markers right here. You need to upgrade in this area, blah blah blah. And each home or each pod has one of those to where you can deep space travel is necessary, but you also have to do your checkup. That, you know, and people say, oh, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Right when you say it's not gonna happen, it just happened. It's We just hadn't reached that point in time. Uh, Drop an idea, Mo. I mean, put it in the chat bar, guys. Come on, man. I mean, they're manifest them, you know, because I'm not thinking of the calendar year 2021. That's obsolete to me. You know, I mean, we have to live it, but I'm en route to that point in time where nobody's checking that clock. You think we're on the moon? I mean, yeah, if I got to do the countdown, yeah, I need to know what time we're breaking out. But I'm walking across the moon to go over here to the cantina from Star Wars, and I got to use my QR code with my Bitcoin or my ERC token that we came up with, and I got to pay the man or the robot. It's coming. It's coming. I just wanted to go into that smart cities Kylan said, man. Mm-hmm. That's already in the works, and it's just okay with this, Mo, right here. What there are times, you know, we have these ideas, amazing ideas, simply, but our ideas or our thoughts are actually ahead of the current technology, and there's a lag, and there's going to be a need to wait for that tech to catch up for that idea. You know, like Tesla, Nikola Tesla was AC DC current, you know, he was ahead of the moment, and we're just now catching up to some of his thoughts. I mean, what do you acres of Mars being sold this week? Man, Justin, talk about the real estate agents on different planets. Who's going to make the statutes and laws that says I can't start selling land off, you know, that because they're already mining on asteroids and things like that. So I want to, as we flesh this out, the idea is to try to align ourselves with a company or a future company, or make that company how to invest in that. You know, what are your thoughts, Mo? As I'm fleshing this thought out, man.
Man, like a lot of stuff is running through my head. I mean, even when like okay, so on your main point, or on your first point about, you know, things going on in space, or I mean, I'm sorry, things going on with the retina, and
yes.
Even being on, you know, the moon and using the cantina with the QR code. Like, my thought and belief is, like, no matter what it is, it's going to be on the blockchain. So that's where I'm positioning is going to be on the blockchain. Going,
no all caps. Possibility.
I mean, going, like, I can't put that any other way. It's going to be on the blockchain. So, like, that is where my my initial and, you know, long-term kind of focus is for aligning myself in the range of all, you know, future technology, is being familiar with blockchain and Bitcoin technology. And it's so funny that you asked about, you know, a future thing, because that, you know, when you were like, you know, what, you know, I just had this conversation with my son. I was talking, and, you know, he's a big Minecraft player. He loves Minecraft, and they now have a plugin with Engine Coin, and they call it Engine Craft. And Engine Coin is a cryptocurrency that is kind of focused on gaming and in the gaming sector. And they have it now to whereas they have special servers where you can go in and collect special boxes, and those boxes will have items that will be added to your blockchain. So the great work that my son does on Minecraft, he can now, the way that I'm thinking about it is, create stuff and, put it on the blockchain and sell all of this stuff that he's creating anyway. That is awesome. So like, man, and he was like, what? Like, what if I just want to play? I was like, then don't worry about that. Let daddy set up the background and you just continue to play. And we still gonna make money from it. So it's just, you right, man. Like, and folks don't even realize that this kind of technology, a lot of people, the masses don't realize that this technology is available. And it's just moving there. And the blockchain is gonna be the way. That's
well, I think this is like, I equate everything to baseball. It's the first inning. It's the first inning of with blockchain tech. If you ask 20 people in random order in a certain circle demographic, maybe two may have heard of the blockchain, maybe five at the most, maybe one kind of understands what occurs on the blockchain and the significance of it, and the fact that when I went to the first my first crypto convention about 4 or 5 years ago in Vegas, the guy was working for Microsoft. He says, "Don't get it fooled. We're building our own blockchain within Microsoft right now. We just haven't." He had just resigned from Microsoft to start his own hedge fund, and he was like, "I'll just give this to you now because I'm not obligated to keep this a secret. We have a blockchain." He said the banks are connecting with different companies to work on their own blockchain to use the crypto to cross atomic swaps, cross currency. So this was 5 years ago. But now, with that being said, this along the same lines, it goes with, okay, you have those quote unquote radical ideas. That's a radical idea. An electric car. Come to find out, an electric car was the first vehicle made before the internal combustion engine car was made. That was shot down because we're dependent on fossil fuels, coal, things like that. But when radical ideas kind of overstep the current vision of the time, the masses aren't ready for certain things, and it can be viewed as like heresy, witchcraft, crazy thought, blasphemy. But the way we find alpha or find a way to capitalize on that, and not to say capitalist market, we need money for the bills and for the food. So we are looking for ways to move into position to invest in this and not say, oh man, they did it again. They keeping us out of this, and that's BS. We can walk right into the building as account number 876943874. They don't know what color I am, what religion I am, and I made my play on one side of the trade and this move. The thing about that is that finding alpha, when we encounter closed minds, people are like, oh, that's crazy. Crypto's crazy. Bitcoin's crazy. The more they get pissed off and divisive and angry about it, it's like it might not be time for it for the masses, but that's an opportunity, in my opinion, for us to get in either at the ground floor or pre-IPO when we become accredited investors, or in the IPO or early stages when it's forming a base. If we get into the technicals, and as Kathy Wood always talks about, we talk about her at ARK Invest, being ready for prime time. Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, ideas were out there. They actually had digital currencies they were trying to float it out there. When ready, the minds weren't ready. The tech, the algorithms were in the making, but she mentioned, crypto's pretty much ready for prime time. Anyone
listen,
anything, can you offer examples in your mind, or if in the chat, guys, that it's something that you thought about years ago is like, this coming to fruition, but it's not time, or what's ready for prime time? That's how we have to start thinking right now. What are your thoughts on that, Mo? Because I know you think, because the blockchain is your engine. That's your primer.
Okay, so there is something that I'm personally interested in as, an investor. And something that I do believe that will be uh, more universal is, well, I mean, and it still falls all into the electric vehicles and the electric charging. I think that, the more Teslas we have, the more Fiskars, or, well, the more Fords and GMs. I'll
True that.
put that asterisk there, that we have electric vehicles, and combined with, home solar panels, home, wind,
It's the
or,
clean energy grid.
man, and now with the blockchain and people being able to create that, like, you basically, be able to have kind of your own energy at home, or,
And get
or be
paid
able
by
to
the
connect,
energy company.
or pay, or what am I trying to say, like, consume energy, or not necessarily consume energy, but store energy is what I'm saying.
There it
And
is.
maybe, sell it to other people. So, energy, clean energy, electric vehicles, charging, blockchain. I think all of that is, and you'll be able to come home, drive to and from wherever you're going in your electric car that you charge at your house, that you got from solar energy on your solar panels, that's on top of your house. That's also powering your home. That's a smart home, and everything is connected to a blockchain. And you pay certain providers different coins through the blockchain using QR codes or something, or retinas, as you would say. Like,
All
that's
that.
a whole lot closer than what people really, really, really
It's
think.
right there. It's
Yep.
it, what's the thing when they say you get the solar, if you use solar, you get a credit from your power company in times, and you'll get a check back
Mhm.
for saving you're saving you're saving power from them having to allocate power to your grid.
Yep.
They're able to save that, and I don't know the details of it, but I keep watching a lot of the videos on that. And Boone Pickens was a
T
baron.
Boone Pickens. Yep.
Basically, he's a wind pimp, man. Have you
Yep.
seen all those big the they look like windmills, but the big three prong along the wind tunnels all the way up this
Hmm.
Midwest, man, even out in the ocean. And every time
Hmm.
that thing turns, that's dollar bills going into his pocket. But it's also the energy, harvesting the wind. And I know they're going to put that on some of these planets, man. When they start getting the transports up there, who's going to be the first one to plant that wind pump machine up there and get the
Hmm.
money coming back? And they're not going to mail it back. They're going to put the thing on the blockchain, going into whatever coin you wanted, and you pull
Yep.
it in and you keep moving, because you can't go to the moon and say, do you have change for $1 so I can put something in a bubblegum machine and I'm gonna
Why
give me a
don't you know it's
Starbucks?
already a coin shortage?
Come on, man.
It's like that for a reason.
So Ronisha mentioned holographic phones. Oh, that's coming.
Mm,
That's coming.
mm.
5G, next iteration. Whether we can visualize it, if she can visualize it, it's there. I've always wanted to play the game on Star Wars where they played the little chess game with the animals moving. That's kind of old
Hmm.
for folks, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
in
They did
there.
it on Harry Potter too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
all these things now. As guys, stay with us because we're moving. I'm moving towards something, towards what the move is from the standpoint from an investing standpoint, because we can have all these dreams, but I really think, it'll come down to say, man, I thought about that 10 years ago, man. So
Hmm.
what can we do? And there are companies. My thing, align myself with the smartest people in the room. And I look at, when I think of it, I start thinking it, and I want to learn more about other CEOs, but the ones who I really kind of follow, uh, of course, Musk, of course, Kathy Wood, who's more of an investor and a CEO within the hedge fund side of things. Bezos as a creator, uh, even the dude at Robinhood, man, who pushed the limit of some things. That's another thing that I was going to mention, guys. The news, February 18th, there's a uh, scheduled to testify the CEO of Citadel, who's the clearing firm, who basically They played both sides of the trade. They knew exactly what the Robinhood investors were buying, and they also were able to take the other side of the trade and play the. They could sell the options to them, or they could close the trade. Citadel was in the prime position. So that CEO and Robinhood CEO will testify on February 18th in front of, I guess, a congressional hearing. So that's going to be big info on the 18th of February. Um, the next thing, Mo, flying taxis, man. My wife has, okay, my wife and I've been, I told you, we'll sit down late at night and talk. And shout out to my wife, Luana Ellaby. Hey, baby. Hey, little Brown. Hey, little, anyway, the only thing that like late at night we'll do it and we'll talk and say, hey, what about this? What about that? And she was like, I think that Uber flying taxi thing is going to come up because they were building platforms. And when you can actually see something, it helps. But she had the vision and she went into it really hard. And Uber sold off that unit to Roby. They're uh, they're a smaller upstart company, a flying taxi company. But the thing is, there's a company that I've invested in that I started. It's a SPAC. And guys, and this is not a buy, sell, or hold. It's not a technical investment. I'm betting on the tech, on the future, and it's Archer Aerospace, but ACIC is going to be it's going to be Atlas Crest Investment Corp. That's the SPAC. That's going to be they're going to bring it to market. And I know I made the call on space a long time ago at like $7. I was hype on space, hype on space. Well, Virgin Galactic, SPCE. People kind of went at me a little bit, but I was like, I mean, when you want to buy and hold, my time horizon wasn't a trade. So it's a totally different strategy of analysis for me. It's like I like where they were thinking. I liked what the CEO was mentioning. And I'm comfortable with the flying taxis because guys here I'm gonna pass it off to Mo. This is my submission for Future Shock. The flying taxis are safer. At first I was like, oh man, why not get a helicopter? Well, the helicopter has one point of strength. They have one rotor, and any malfunction on there, the entire craft goes down. So the helicopter, I mean, the flying taxis are basically larger drones with multiple rotors. And like, let's say they had 10 rotors, they could fall. 7 of the 10 could fail, and there would still be a soft landing. That's the safety issue is there, and there's something called distributed electric propulsion. That's the key because you can't have an internal combustion engine that could power multiple propellers like that. So it's an EV. So EV is not landlocked. It's not locked into just going on vehicles with Tesla. It's going to be, and Mo and I'll talk about this all the time. The advancement within EV is going to be in the battery technology. How long can that charge last? How long does it take to get a full charge? Where will its charging stations be if I try to go cross country? I have to go to somebody's house and say, hey, ask your mama if I can go to the garage and plug in. No, not my phone. I got to plug my car up. And it's there's so charging stations, battery tech, and now the flying taxis, man, that stuff's there's going to be charging stations on the moon. It's going to be like, okay, let me get a charge here, and I'm gonna go to the helipad or whatever, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna have to take that party shuttle. Uh, everybody had their birthday month. Well, the birthday month, they're not gonna get on the party bus. They're gonna do the party shuttle to the moon and kick it, and then come back over the weekend. So that's one of my submissions, man. Shell Gas is making uh, a charging station. It said JD tripping, man. He bullish on space. I still am, man. I know. I just kind of, I love space, but I like AC. I like the flying taxis. Archer is the company that they're merging with. Mo, drop it on me, man. What's your give me another vision, man. Y'all put it in there because I know y'all are because the more we talk about it, the we have to find a way to align ourselves with these companies.
You know, man, you put me on the spot with like your one. Like, first of all, I'm a Gemini. Like, I can't have just one. So, you know, I got a slew. But, you know, with that being said, you know, like I said at the beginning, you know, I do forecast and I do look at, you know, fundamentals in order to do that. But, you know, as think of it was John Maynard Keynes, famous economist, said in the long term, we all dead. So like, you know, when I think about what I can do now, you know, to put myself in position in the future, you know, I don't want to veer too far off of what, you know, what's grinding and what's doing good now. Like everything you said is correct and ought to be and will be part of the future. And so, you know, I like Tesla. I like Blink charging. I mean, they're doing good now. But just I mean, I like Microsoft. I like Apple. You know, all of those companies that have the standing already and already have the foot in the door and the tech, you know, the people and the technology. Amazon, like I like them a lot. GM, I like them to be able to continue if they're able to, you know, continue to attract the engineers.
Have the capital.
And you know they have the capital to do it, so I don't see why they wouldn't continue to be, you know. And the thing I wanted to share real quick, because you were talking about flying taxis.
Yeah, yeah. What
And
you
I
got, dog?
remember this. Hold on. I got a couple of screens up. Let me see. Let me share this real quick.
Hey,
And
and
this
I
is
just think
also
back
why I
about
like
Grambling.
GM.
Mug said, "This ninja said flying taxis." You'd be like, "Okay, man, I'm just trying to think a little outside the box. I mean, get out of here with that." Can't hear your volume, but I remember this during CES. Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
Let me see if I can. Um, I should be able to make it to where.
Dang, I thought I had it buffered already. Tried to.
Another thing is this buffering. The gentleman said that with all the different rotors that are going on, it's not going to be just a human pilot. It's going to be and some Justin just put it in there, autonomous
Mm-hmm.
driving,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because you're going to have different points of protection and contact, and AI is going to be involved with it as well, and so
All right. Well, this is acting butthole right now. So.
self-driving tech, semiconductors, chips.
But yeah, the thing that caught me, I mean, off rip, is that it was Cadillac. So
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
like
not
yo, I
ignoring it.
mean, right? You can't ignore like Ford, GM, Tesla. As far as newbies, you know, I like Blink charging. Like you said, charging is going to be the key. Batteries and charging. But you know, Tesla got a great hold on that.
Yeah, they had a jump
You know,
start.
it's a couple of cryptocurrencies. They got to, you know, that's working on some things with that. So, you know, I don't see why, you know, sticking
Question,
kind of with, you know, the good old guys is a problem.
crypto question.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, big fan of Ethereum. I think everything flows through that ecosystem. I think everything flows through either the Bitcoin. I mean, it's going to be the SHA-256 algorithm for Bitcoin. It hadn't been hacked yet, even though the quantum computers are coming. We'll see what happens when that comes. But the ERC20 tokens, the Ethereum platform, is one of the best building platforms. Without letting you know, giving more in depth. But do you feel those are you are you a fan of those two blockchains? Because I know there are more blockchains out there, but
Of course. I mean, you know, there wouldn't be Ethereum without Bitcoin. You know, so I like Bitcoin, and you know, I trade heavily decentralized finance coins. So, you know, that would not be possible without Ethereum. So, you know, I'm big
So the
on
majority of those are
ERC20.
on ERC20. They're
Yeah,
ERC20
most of them
tokens.
are
Okay,
ERC20 tokens. So,
guys,
you know,
look that up.
most of my most of my trading actually, especially this past year,
Yeah.
has been, you know, crypto and ERC20 tokens. So, yeah, I'm big on those two. If I could give kind of, you know, a sneak peek on the next one, I would say, you know, outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, for folks to look into oracles. Oracles pass data. All of everything that's going, that, you know, outside companies are going to need to, you know, run their business through the blockchain would need data, and so oracles are able to take data from in the blockchain and pass it out, and vice versa. The largest oracle company, I give y'all this one, is Chainlink. You might want to look into
I
Chainlink.
keep hearing that name.
Yeah, Chainlink, and there are a few others. I won't give out those, but
Well, you keep them for your crew, partner. Keep them for that crew over there, dog.
Hey,
and we'll
you
tell
know,
them
hey,
we're gonna meet up at the. We're gonna meet y'all at
when I
the.
say we got the juice, bro, I don't be playing.
We're gonna meet y'all at
But
the. At the
definitely, yeah, look into oracles and what oracles are to the blockchain, and then, you know, look at, you know, chain. They're definitely worth looking into to expand your knowledge of what, you know, the blockchain is, and the possibilities of what, you know, if you understand the Bitcoin blockchain, if you understand Ethereum and the difference between the two at least, and that, you know, other tokens can be built off Ethereum, and you kind of got a good idea, then oracles and going into Chainlink would be a great next step for your blockchain.
Hey guys, he said. I think everybody caught it, but it's up to us. Ethereum is going to be Ethereum, Ethereum. That's just, or the ticker ETH, or now.
And Link is the ticker for Chainlink. LINK.
Guys, the thought process is this: when you want to research your coins, it's a lot. It's a lot goes into it. But I mean, white papers. Reading the white papers is mandatory in my opinion. But also going with are they actively working on that development of that coin? Because certain coins, their developers have stopped working. You know, there's certain coins are dead in the water. But that's something to move on to a little bit further. But I want to talk about this right here, man. There was a gentleman that I was studying a little bit, and a name escapes me. And I'll pull up. Matter of fact, I have the document. He wrote something in, I think, 2002, and his name is Ray Kurzweil, Kurzwell, Ray Kurzweil, and it's called the Law of Accelerating Returns. So you think, you know, like, oh man, in about 5 years, 10 years from now, something we'll have that technology, but we move at an exponential rate after something doubles, or after something actually, you know, like when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. I don't think anybody really knows about it. I didn't see him break the mile, but once he finally did it, I think weeks later, someone broke that again, and then that record was broken. So once you get to a point, a tipping point, like Malcolm Gladwell says, you get to the tipping point, things move at an exponentially faster rate than you projected. So Kurzweil says this. He mentions that so we won't experience 100 years of progress in the 20th century. Like, you think it'll take, you know, over 100 years in 1 century, 100 years of progress. He says it's going to be more like 20,000 years of progress from the past. You look in the past, like, oh, from the time of like Benjamin Franklin. If we showed Benjamin Franklin the toaster, he probably wouldn't be spooked. But like, I'm sure he was working on things like that, or maybe electricity, blah blah blah, or the brother who he stole it from. What's up? But or you go and you show Benjamin Franklin your iPhone, we're gonna be burned at the stake. So there's going to be an exponential jump. We might not be able to understand it right now. Like, you know, my grandmother lived to 101. So She saw all of these technological advances. And, you know, I mean, so we're at that stage now. The next move, and Mo dropped a few names, uh, the companies, the companies who are are not afraid, who aren't afraid to step into that area, like Microsoft. Microsoft's at the forefront of technology. Uh, Tesla, you know, different companies, guys. The idea is that you come up with your list and your reasons why, and then you decide, okay, are we moving into it? Like today, my wife and I, we talked about. I told you ACIC. That's not a buy, sell, or hold recommendation. I'm in that. That's flying taxis. It's under 15 bucks. It's worth. There's a portion of my portfolio that can be used for speculation for future moves. If I lose it, I lose it. It's not the baby's diaper money. That's what I always say. Um, I wanted to go over a few charts, but there's something in my opinion that are called converging technologies. Mo and I were talking about EV. So we go electric vehicles. Not only electric vehicles, we don't have just the cars. We're going to have, you know, you're going to have the clean energy at the home. You're going to have the power grid at your house. Tesla sells a power grid. Generac sells a power grid. GNRC is a company. Generac, they sell a power grid to where you can charge your car off the power grid. And then if your lights go out sometimes, if you have an extra charge in your car, you can refuel your power grid if necessary. It's reversible energy. The other converging technology is 3D printing. The gentleman that was with Archer Aviation mentioned that they're gonna their factory is gonna 3D print a good portion of the components for their flying taxis. So I mean, I'm not saying that it's like you can build a steel mill with EV. I mean, with 3D printing, but a lot of the components can be used, and that's going to lower the cost of manufacturing. You blend that with artificial intelligence, and you blend it with big data. We got to have data for the full self driving for Tesla, because the what people don't realize is that all the cars that they sell, man, is that he's put those on the market. He's pulling back data from the camera and anything that's coming up. They're logging that data to where they have the largest network of a grid to where you can have the full self-driving, autonomous driving. That's what you need for anything autonomous. You need data, like Mo mentioned, you know, on the blockchain, that and what can carry that much data to go across eons, go across space, is the blockchain's going to do it. And Musk just sent up Starlink. I mean, well, he sent up all those the satellites. I signed up for Starlink. Our internet sucks, and it was, you know, $99. We got for the beta. I'm waiting for that to come later on this year. But the point I'm making, all of these connect in a way. Big data, the semiconductors. You saw how the chip shortage has put a it hamstrung the EV sector for a little week. Got cats panicked. Yep. You were you were talking about that enough. Joe Biden mentioned he made the statement, we're going to get the chips for you guys.
Yeah, my crew made some good money on chips this week.
AMD finally coming back up. You know, I've been sitting in that but the point I'm making is that I keep talking about battery tech. I keep talking, you know, FCEL, guys, is one to research. Fuel cell. That's a weekly. And as we dig into this, Mo, you know, we always talk about wide base building. How nice of a base is this? I'm not showing you guys, this is an after the fact chart. This is a weekly chart. I had a few charts I wanted to show you, and Mo has some. But guys, when you like a company and you start, you can look up Wyckoff, Wyckoff. He has it's basically the trend, just the cycle of a stock or a price, and it's the human emotion involved with that too. But that's a wide base that you love to see when you see your breakout. Now it would be look a little different on the daily chart, but I'm showing the weekly. We're a little extended, but hey, this was a great run. It's showing us it's a good company from the standpoint we had some volume, like 648 million, 699 million. That's letting us know that's just not retail investors piling into that. That's a little bit more than that. So another company that lithium ion guys and Tesla has moved away from batteries with cobalt. So in the future, the the headache was that in the Congo they were having a lot of children mining cobalt. That was just and they kind of hushed that under the rug, and they slowly took them a little time to move away from the cobalt batteries. And I think that Panasonic is helping, and they're moving in that direction. So that's something to pay attention to. The next one I just want to show you real quick. Let me show you, and we're kind of just blend right into technical analysis, but the cues are, it's a heavily swayed by the tech industry. I like this channel. I like the patterns that we've had. Now with the cues on the weekly, we're at the top of a bull channel. There's times where the channels you up and down within the channel. So I'm paying attention to it. It has a nice. There's still room to push and pop, but there's some other people are saying kind of watch out. We might be a little extended, and I like that's called a bull channel. That's a tight bull channel. Bull channel is something that you can look up, guys, if you want to if you're interested in technical analysis. Um, let's go with ARKK. Now, ARKK, ARK Invest. I pay close attention to how they move, how they operate, and all of these same companies that I'm pulling up have similar patterns, and you can spot them from dating back. You can spot it from, there we go. It doesn't have to be like right now. You want to catch them before the moves occur, and after the fact, sometimes it's too late. So you catch a channel a few weeks into it once it establishes itself, and a lot of times it's going to run its course. Channel might pull back, but you don't get a full reversal just right away. This has been a bull channel on ARK Invest since probably the end of Rona. What is that? Let's see.
March. Yep.
Yeah, 323. It started it. And what we talk about in technical analysis is reversal candles. That's a Morningstar Doji. You can look that up. You see it on the weekly. If you spot something like that, you start getting happy and getting excited because there's history behind it. The next step is you start paying attention to volume. That volume has picked up throughout this entire move. I mean, it's like it just gone, and we're on the weekly.
I was gonna say it's a weekly too. Yep.
It's 5 million right there, and then we go down to here in the most recent volume, 46 million. So it's people are piling into this particular fund. The last one, and I'm gonna toss it to Mo. I'm gonna show you something that I call a parabolic break. Right here, man. Monsanto. I'm just want to show Monsanto. I'm not a fan of Monsanto, but these guys are going to be the people to watch as you go if you're a conspiracy theorist, because they purchase the companies that have seeds. They are involved in a lot of, people say, nefarious activities, but they are in some seriously prosperous business moves, and it's visible right here with their
dirty money.
Exactly. And if you're going to do vertical farming on in space years from now, I guarantee you 25, 30 years from now, Monsanto will be in the mix.
And Joe Biden just appointed one of their executives to, I believe it was the USDA, to appoint a head position in the cabinet. So,
and they're big on the GMOs, man, on the genetically modified.
That's the GMO company right there.
That is, yeah. So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Now for a parabolic breakout right here, we got your bull channel, resistance, pull back to support, and then The volume is not as big right here, but if we look a little closer, pull back to Mo's hammer at support within my trend line. It's not the perfect hammer, but it has MC tendencies. He might not rap a lot, but anyway, I
Got the
almost
baggy pants though.
got the pants on, and he put it in the mix. But look, volume, increasing volume. That's what we wanted to see. We saw it. 33 million, 50, almost doubled the volume. We might be at the end of a run for right now. Might be pulling back and settle into a little accumulation period, or we don't know. But these are what you're looking for, these runs, and this lasted from Rona. So if you hopped in and you bought a 6-month option or a 5-month option, whatever, you could get in and you could ride it. And not to say that, hey, you know exactly which company is going to do this, but there are certain traits, certain tendencies. And last one, everybody's been on this, GameStop. I'm going to show you on the daily when it's time to get out, which, diamond hands, my wife said, she tries to make fun of me. She's like, I told y'all GameStop was going to go down. She's trying to make him out. She's do my voice. Like, I don't talk like that. She's like, JD will be like, I told y'all need to hold on to Tesla. Hold on. You get you some Bitcoin and you hold. You don't sell out of that. But GameStop, you take your money and you take profit before they pull that rug out. Like, she'll make the joke. But look, you have the same trends. And guys, a lot of people like to penny stocks. GameStop was a penny stock at this time. When it broke out and hit this point, the volume went bananas. It caught a lot of people off guard, and people bought at the 483 clip. A lot of people bought up there, and they're still bag holding. And so they're praying. That's why they're going to sue Robinhood. No, man, sue those cats on TV. They were saying hold right here instead of taking profit when you know that the chart is parabolic. I mean, what you say the same thing, Mo. I mean, we speak the same language, man. That chart looks just like this chart, AMC, the run up, volume, parabolic, rug pull, and
You know what's interesting? What I just saw on both of those charts. If you draw a trend line from right before the breakout to right where the price is now, I mean, it's still, I mean, even if it's on, upward trajectory, or if that's something serious and it's going to push the stock price higher, like it pushed up and pulled back right to, a decent, kind of trajectory for a long, uptrend.
Right.
It reverted back to the mean, basically. The fact that it came from, way up there to way back there. So the parabolic moves don't last. They don't hold. It's always no pullback.
And guys, I mean, I'm a strong proponent of this ticker right here. If you guys use Thinkorswim, I use the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. You can click on this little beaker right here, and you type over here. You just go RSI, and it's right there. You click it, left click, and click Add Selected. You can add it to your thing. It's going to be on the lower studies on your chart, and you don't change any of the parameters. Leave it just like that. And what's going to happen, it will have it to where, let me show you right here. And this is something, guys, that you can pay attention to, and it can be something of a just a barometer. When it's 30s down here, when it's below 30, it's oversold. So that means selling pressure has gone so long that possibly buying pressure may come back in. Now, it can think about being oversold. It can be oversold for an extended period. I say that all the time, or it can be overbought for an extended period, which is anything over 70. Guys, look that up. I'm not going to just give the lesson on that. You can look it up on investopedia.com. When it gets up over this, when it gets into the red or gets above 70, that's the alert to say, okay, we might be running out of steam. Now, company like Tesla, it can stay above that. Roku, the companies that have a lot of volume, a lot of action, a lot of energy, they can stay above that 70 for up to a week, couple of weeks, whatever. But you go to the lower time frames, you're going to see the ebbs and flows. But so pay attention to these limits if you and study up on it. It's not something that I want you to just add to your chart. It's something that I use and I live by. You know, I used to use stochastics. Some people use Bollinger Bands, and I'm gonna toss the mic over to Mo Jax, man. I know we talked about a couple of charts, and then if you had a couple you wanted to pull up, man, and I'm gonna look in the chat bar while you
All
take
right.
over.
Yeah, they chewed me out.
Rule.
They chewed me out in the chat bar too about those picks. Nah, all the flavor is in DCG though. That's that's where you got to get it. But let me see. Let me share my screen real quick. I had a couple of.
Go ahead.
I mean, like I said, my whole thing for the night, it don't matter what it is. Like the blockchain is gonna be like the underlying thing, and that's what I'm big on. A couple of stocks to kind of keep up with that. You was talking about nice solid uptrend. This one has been going. This on the daily chart. I wanted to pull up.
What was Riot when we put it in the SSR? I think it was under 10, wasn't it?
It had to be because it was
a penny stock.
What month was penny stocks? Yeah, I'll
go get it. You keep going, man.
Yeah, I mean it strong move. This is on the weekly, so it's going, and I mean this is showing, even with the volume, is showing that these companies are in the blockchain is making a solid impact. This is another one, Marathon Patent Group, breaking out and continuing to look good. These are stocks that I would consider as as they dip, buy the dip. They will continue to do well. If I go back to, I had a couple of articles to kind of support that. BitPay card is BitPay is a service that provides you with a card with a Visa logo, so that if you have cryptocurrency, you can unload that cryptocurrency onto your BitPay card and use it and spend it anywhere Visa is accepted. And name me a place in the world where Visa isn't accepted. Like, I'll wait. So BitPay, and I have BitPay. I use BitPay often. So it is what it is. So they are now adding support for Apple Pay. So now you can connect with Apple. So basically, Apple is showing that they're tippy-toeing into. Apple is basically accepting crypto now with the support through BitPay cards. So that's that one there. And then we got the world's oldest bank, Bank of New York Mellon, to offer Bitcoin services, validation of crypto from key bank in the financial system. So Bank of New York Mellon saying that they will now dig into digital assets. This is like major. This is like the large bank's bank. That's kind of how Bank of New York Mellon is a major bank. When somebody posted it on Facebook, and when I replied, I put that this is Warren Buffett's favorite. That was
me.
Bank.
You said that to me.
Yeah. Warren Buffett's favorite bank. I have to check his actual the last earnings statement to see if they still actually hold them now. But I know, reading from his memoirs, that this was a bank that he was very fond of and that his company banks with. So, and I also posted that Warren Buffett he's said, I couldn't find that, but he said that he would start panic buying Bitcoin over 50. And, I could pull up Bitcoin right now. We was just at 50, I think. Yeah. So when that article was posted, we have 47 now. 47, 48. Man, y'all don't think he gonna actually wait till 50 to
hey man, they already had those wallets set up.
Man, come on, man. Folks say what they want about Buffett. He the OG. So,
Four
and the
dollars
fact
and one
that
cent,
his
Mo.
bank,
$4.01 on the riot when we
it
released
was
that.
401.
Four
Let's go
dollars
back
and
up.
one cent, and the month was the particular stock scouting report was August 20th, August 2020 was a metals and mining report that we put riot in
Yeah,
there.
back over here.
August of 2020, $4.01.
It's at 50, almost at $50 now. So, and
Five.
that was when I put in basically, you know, on the growth of Bitcoin, because I seen, I mean, it for those of us that's been studying you know, the blockchain and studying cryptocurrencies for the past few years, you know, shout out to DCG, like, you know, we are seeing all of this coming. So like I said, Bank of New York Mellon, that's another one. This is one that I saw today. JP Morgan, co-president, saying that, you know, they are looking to embrace Bitcoin. They say the demand isn't there yet, but I'm sure it will be at some point. Like, you know, they say that the demand isn't there yet. Yeah, this is from the same bank that said Bitcoin was a joke a couple years ago and then came out with the JPM coin. So you know, definitely they are accepting Bitcoin. And this was the last thing I wanted to show. This is one of the most confirming things for me, is that you see all of these different companies, and you can kind of see some of these tickers. They're in different markets, but these are all companies that have basically Bitcoin treasuries, meaning that you know, they have added Bitcoin to their balance sheet. If you're, you know, not familiar with accounting, that's also why, you know, I've always been a big believer in the blockchain, because my background is in corporate accounting. That's why it's a ledger. That's what blockchain is. That's all I did all day for years, was create ledgers, create, you know, balance sheets and income statements. So, you know, for a balance sheet, you know, that holds your assets and your liabilities. You know, if you add something to it, it's either going to be an asset or a liability. And trust and believe, you know, Bitcoin is not a liability. They're not, you know, using it, or there are not, you know, accounting terms where Bitcoin would fit, you know, as a liability on the balance sheet. So they're adding Bitcoin as an asset. And then you have companies like MicroStrategy, who said they're using it as a treasury reserve. And what that means is, what they're basically saying is, if they are holding so much Bitcoin, so that just in case, you know, the US dollar or any other currency is, you know, goes to poop, you know, keep it clean, they will be able to transact in Bitcoin. That's what they mean by having it as a reserve currency, a currency that they could use in reserve. So I mean, and they're not the only one doing it. Mero was the other company that I showed, but you talked about Square earlier. Square, you know, Voyager, we talked about that one. Riot Blockchain, and, you know, Coin Citadel. I
That's
almost
sneaky,
am
bro.
oh man, I'm almost 100% sure that's connected
That's
to
them.
Citadel.
That's
But
them.
you know what I mean? Like, you have all these companies that are basically saying, and like, if you look here, 40, 35, 45%, 21%, 34%, 22%, that's, you know, as much of their balance sheet that's in Bitcoin. So like, man, look, all right, y'all, y'all slip out if you want to, and miss out, you know, on the rise. But I mean, even if we go back to the other companies that I was talking about before, if we just kind of keep it simple and, you know, make the ride, like Apple is still looking good. Still on a consistent uptrend. These are on weekly charts. For look at
Consolidating.
Microsoft, yep, consolidating, looking for, you know, another push up. Microsoft is just breaking out of a consolidation, so, you know, Microsoft is looking good. I mean, El
Microsoft kind of
Jefe.
slipped to the background from the mainstream discussion boards, but that's the time when I feel like people are allocating
Yep.
the accumulation of you know, that from that standpoint.
And I'll pull up the three that I talked about. Bitcoin, is just breaking out of another consolidation area. Man, look. All right, watch what happened when it hit 50K.
It's gonna run to 60.
60. It's gonna leave 60 like US boat. Watch. Hey man. Watch. Here's Ethereum. Ethereum just broke out of another, man. Okay. So yeah. Um, looking
Wow,
at
I hadn't even looked at the
2022
Ethereum chart.
close. And here is the other one. And this one is another
Ooh,
one that just broke out. All of them, man. Look, after a nice,
cup and handle,
looking like, come on, son.
or
This one
nice
got,
base build.
I mean, nice strong, but after another previous strong base build. So, y'all better catch that before it hit 100.
So that's on Binance, huh? Okay, okay.
That's just this chart. It's a few places you can get
Okay.
Chainlink. So
Oh, guys, and don't keep your coins on an exchange.
Check this one. I haven't looked at this chart though.
Unless you're trading.
Huh?
What we got?
I was trying to look up Bank of New York Mellon. Maybe it's.
And Renisha asked this question, man. So how long, if you don't mind me asking, how long did it take you guys until you were easily able to connect things? Like if a certain area is popular, then they need this to run. So look in that sector. You know how I call it the 6 degrees of separation. So if the EVs are going, it's just sitting and talking through it. Ro, you do it already because you picked Intel. You picked Intel months ago. There was a reason behind it. So the chip sector connected to the, hip bone, connected to the thigh bone, connected to the leg, lower leg down to the ankle. And oh, I need shoelaces. I mean, whatever is the connection is there when we talk it out. Like what is the key element that's going to make this thing run? That's how I look at it.
Well, in answering how long did it take, like, it's weird. Like, it took a long time, takes a long time, it's taking a long time. I'll put it that way. Like, it's still a continuing process. My background is a little bit different. So, like, I started studying industries in undergrad. Like, that was my thing in economics was, industrial economics. So, I'm able to connect things a little bit differently than other people. But, the more market knowledge and the more, just access and comfortability and you have with the market, and you continue to read and kind of put things together, it'll come. The more you continue to be in the market. One thing that I can say that may help is, as JD said earlier, is following other forward-thinking managers, investment managers, people like Cathie Wood, because she will say certain things in her. It's a couple of videos you sent me, JD, of her where she will say certain things and say, like, we're looking at this, and because they have this going on and this going on, we're also looking at this, and if this happens like this, and then that would mean that these go off like this. So you just kind of gotta continue to be in tune with the market, start to get more in tune with how I want to put this correctly, market participants. And when I say that, I want to be wary, like market participants like Cathie Wood, those managers, those fund managers, those analysts that really, have skin in the game, and that, their funds back up, what they say. It's kind of hard to find some of them folks. You kind of gotta, dig, because everybody's out to be Jim Cramer, me. I don't listen to dude. I don't pay attention to nothing he say ever. But
is
start
Tom
to
Lee
kind of
in
just
that group
get,
for you?
huh?
Is Tom Lee in that group?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Tom Lee, and man, all the people at Ariel Investments.
I like Ariel, dude. I like Ariel.
Group. So that's all long term. But definitely, Cathie Wood is, she's in there right now. So
well, look,
just stay in tune.
I think 2020 has been a trying time in many respects, but also it's given individuals like the individuals in the room, like us, had a chance to kind of hone our craft, to dig in and spend more time, whether we're looking at YouTube videos, reading on Audible, reading just and really testing what is it, sharpening our countenance, against each other and in the market. And I
And
think
that's
this.
another way too, being involved in stuff like this. I mean to cut you off, but
No,
like
you
that,
shoot.
I mean, that's another way. The fact that we have this community and people are able to bounce off ideas and you're able to be around stuff like this, should spark something that will have you looking at, the add-on plays, Visa and MasterCard
Right.
and PayPal and Square, because they all got cards and swipe
And they
and
run
Green Dot.
together.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so now, that's a whole slew of companies that they all add together. So
Word.
it'll come like that.
Well, I tell y'all this, man, that I think we had a good episode tonight. I think we're going to shut it and move on. Thank y'all for coming out, man. I was going to let y'all know, my mastermind group is going to be this week. It's Sunday. I'll shoot out the time, but you can email me if you don't have the link to it. It's the same link. It's like I'm 4 p.m. Central. If y'all know it, that's 5 p.m. Eastern. So we'll get that. But we're going to talk about a few things. I might have a special guest. I'm working on that right now. But it's email me that, and then you can reach out to Mo. And thank y'all for coming, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Well, look, man, I'm going to shout out everybody. We got Danielle. I'll shout my wife out. We have, I think that's Althea in there. Yeah, A. Cooper, Brooke Williams.
The mastermind is back. That's right.
Mastermind. And Kylan in here, Crystal Hawkins, Slater Hawkins, Danielle Fonseca, Jay Ford, East Boogie, Justin Bullard, Keyshawn, Kenny Lattimore, Kylan Chavis, Wifey,
Mrs. Ella B.
Yeah, M. Williams, Marsha.
Miss Marsha, what's going on?
What's up, Rachel, Ronisha, Selena, and Nicole Tillman. All right. Thank y'all.
Selena and Keyshawn, get at me.
Look, we'll post this. We're going to post this.
You know how you can get it?
We'll post it in the Stock Scouts, and I'll email it out too if you guys are on the email list. So just email me, and we back next Friday, man.
You know it.
Thank y'all.
I'm gonna stop
the record, man. Great one, dog.
I love you.